Hi, Rowena. We're back again with our behind the scenes videos of how we are developing our program from vision to voice.
Hi, Krista. How are you?
It is good, but as always, it is humid and it is hot in Malaysia, and I'm sure it is cold where you are in Australia, right?
Yes, but it's okay. It's not a bad day. The
Okay.
sun is out.
And so we're recording this because today we want to talk about something that is integral to our program, but we don't really talk about it as much. So we thought today we'll talk about it. Is our weekly consistency, how we adhere to our workload that we look forward to on Fridays. So we decided that Friday is the day for us to get into our work for the program that we are developing. And by the time you watch this or listen to this, the program is already out there. So you can check it out. But for today's recording, we're going to talk about how we set ourselves a weekly rhythm by focusing on one specific day in the week, which is Friday, to work on this program. So, Rowena, can you tell us a little bit about your Friday?
Okay, sure. Friday is my favorite day, I have to say, because I love the work that we're doing, and I really appreciate having that consistency because I know what to expect, you know what to expect, and we put the time aside. And it always feels a little bit difficult at the start because you're just sort of figuring out, will this work? And actually over the weeks and months that we've been doing this, there have been occasions when you've not been able to make it on a Friday, or I've not been able to make it on a Friday, and we've, made adjustments. In fact, today is Thursday. I just realized today's a Thursday because, we can't do it tomorrow, and so we brought it forward. But the good thing about it is we have both made that commitment to each other in terms of parking aside the time, blocking aside the time to do this work. And it has been, I think, really instrumental in being able to progress the work in the manner that we have done so. And it's about not just putting aside the time to have these calls where we will talk about the program, but also record the behind the scenes. So, our audience can get a sense of what actually goes on behind the door, behind closed doors when people are working on a program. Because we brought you in right from the start before we even knew what we were going to do, just to involve you in that whole process, in the thinking that goes behind it. And as you can see from the conversations that Krista and I are having, we typically start the call. We would have just an idea of, a couple of points that we think we're going to cover, but there is no scripting here. There is no scripting at all. It's just we know what we want to talk about, and then we just having the conversation. The only difference is the record button is on, and you get to be part of that process. So don't feel like there's a lot of planning going on behind the scenes of the behind the scenes. It's very minimal. This is as raw as it gets, right? So we have the meetings every week, and mostly we're doing the behind the scenes to involve you and allow you to get a look into that whole process. But we also have had time that we dedicate to thinking about the program, having conversations around some of the things that we're not certain about, or ideas that we're exploring, because we're always, I guess our brains are always ticking. And that's one of the good things about the other tools that we use, tools like Trello, where we can kind of capture all of the ongoing work and links so that we're not having to go look for it. It's all in one place. And also WhatsApp. WhatsApp is, I think, to me, such a key tool for our ongoing collaboration, because we have the Google Doc that we use to kind of capture all the ideas, but it's WhatsApp that we use to kind of like, hey, I was thinking about this, or hey, I've been experimenting with this, and oh, what do you think about this idea? And then it's like, if we have the time, it's like, oh, should we jump on a quick call? And we just jump on a call and have that chat, or we say, let's park it for the meeting on Friday, that sort of thing. So that's I guess where I'm coming from. I'm really happy about the consistency, and that has helped us to get to where we want to be. I mean, we had an idea that we want to launch this, and so working backwards and kind of figuring out, okay, what do we need to do, and what do we need to do to get to this point?
Yeah, so I wanted to add to it is like I like having our weekly Friday rhythm because I know from Monday to Thursdays, both of us are busy with so many other things in our lives. Our businesses, for example, and the things that we need to do outside of this program, right? So Friday gives me a real block of time and space for me to really sit down and say, okay, I'm meeting Rowena. And usually our meetings are 2 p.m. Friday, which is her 4 p.m. in Australia, right? So for her, it's almost the end of the day. For me, it's like it's after lunch. So we set aside this, what, 1 hour, 2 hours, however much time we can allocate to that Friday afternoon. We will put aside that time so that we can really get into. Number one, when we first get into this kind of calls, we start off by updating each other. Like, what do we do? What have we done? What are we thinking about? Where is that thing that we need to work on? What else do we need to work on? So we get into that by discussing the things that have happened in the past week or the past few days, and then we get talking about also the work that's going to happen in the coming week, which if people who have not developed programs, they would think, well, isn't this just a program? Isn't it something that you just structure it and put it out there? But I think that as I work with Rowena on this program, I feel that the program has been, I mean, when we talk about it, we have an idea. But when are developing that idea and turning it into a really structured program, sometimes in between we realize that, oh, there are certain things that perhaps we should include. Certain things that I think Rowena, you talked about the privacy policy. Was it a
Yeah,
privacy policy that you
terms
talked
and
about? Yeah.
conditions, privacy policy, those are the basics that we need to include in any kind of program.
Yeah. So sometimes while we are talking about high level, big picture, program, what goes into the program, sometimes we start thinking, oh, along the way, we need to put in certain documents or certain things that allow us to really be very clear with our participants what they're getting or how they're getting into the program. The other thing that I think last week when we were talking, I think last week, was it last week? It was last few days. They were talking, I think it was last week, that we were talking about having different packages. Remember, Rowena, you were saying that perhaps we should have different packages. And because both of us are seasoned communicators, we can take an idea and run with it. We don't have to wait like, hey, Rowena, I'm waiting for you, or hey, Krista, I'm waiting for you. Each of us can say, okay, I got this idea. Are you okay with it? If you're okay with it, I can do this part of it, which is what you did, right? So, Rowena, you took our main program offering and you split it into a part where we say, what if participants just want the workshops only instead of workshops and coaching? So now we have two parts to it. So one, if you're a participant and you just have time only to do the workshops where both Rowena and I are co-teaching, you can join just for the workshops. But if you feel that, no, I think I need the workshops and the coaching by me and Rowena, then you can join the ones with the coaching. So at least we've split it into two so people have a choice of whether they want to do workshops or workshops and coaching. And that idea just came last week, right? So
Yes.
Rowena had this brilliant idea like, hey, can we do this? And I said, yeah, why not?
Yeah, I guess I want to just touch on a little bit on that. The idea was, look, the way that we've crafted this program, we see as the 4 week visibility sprint, how it sort of is delivered is it's not just instruction or teaching or that sort of thing where it's just taking in information. A lot of what you will do in this program is actual work. And it'll be very much tailored to your individual circumstance and the things that you are working on and the kind of outcomes you want. And so the way that we've developed the program is that we have 4 weeks, and each week we have time that we dedicate to the workshop, which incorporates the facilitation, the presentation of materials, but also brainstorming, discussion, group work, and then another day dedicated to coaching. We see this as a holistic approach where you're combining both the workshop and the coaching. We feel that you need this combination of both the workshop and the coaching in order to get that full experience. Okay, but as time went on, I came to the realization that, look, people are at different stages of their life, and whatever they may be facing, and I just want to make sure that we're making things accessible, and we're providing freedom and autonomy to people to make decisions that best suit their circumstances. And those circumstances may not be entirely clear to us. They may not get into the details of why they can't or can do something at a particular point in time. And so the idea behind providing the option to just go for the workshops as opposed to workshops and coaching is recognition of that maybe some people are just not at that point where they're ready to take it on, or they may feel, look, that's all I need. I just need the workshops because I just need the information and the know-how, but I don't need the coaching because maybe I feel I know what I need to do, and that's fine. That's okay too. So that's the reason behind doing that, and it makes me happy to be able to give people that choice. It makes me happy because I want people to feel like they're in control too. So you look at the program. We don't do any hard pitch. It's basically we've had that experience. Coming from a marketing background, for both of us, the idea is we're all adults. We know what we want, and the way that the world has moved with digital and always available information, 24/7 access, is that people want to take charge of their purchasing journey, and they want to know what they want to know. So our job as marketers and communicators is to give them everything they need. So that's the understanding behind the creation of the landing page and all of this information. Is just, you have everything you need. If you need more, you can always reach out and contact us, but you have everything you need to make a decision on whether or not this is a program that's suitable to you. And I guess that is also the basis for why we do this behind the scenes. I think about myself, and if I was going to, commit money to a program, I'll want to know who is running the show. Who are these people, and why should I trust them? And do they know what they're talking about? And I can go to their websites. Sure, I can check out their LinkedIn. Okay. But video is just like super powerful because, I'll get to see the nonverbals. I'll get to see their personality coming through. I'll get to see so much more of these individuals. And that to me is powerful. And so when you told me, let's do this, I was like, yeah, let's do it.
But I'm so glad you joined me in this adventure, because I think sometimes even for us, right, even as we are trying to encourage our participants to get out of their comfort zone, I think I should also move out of my own comfort
We got to
zone,
do that
right?
ourselves. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, we got
Yeah.
to, and we got to actually do this and record our journey of developing the program. Which actually, when we look back on it, I mean, maybe a year from now, we're like, wow, that's how we developed the program. So there's a program being developed live. Well, live as in when we're both talking is live,
Yeah.
but then it's recorded too, right? It's recorded and people can look back on it. And if you want to develop your own program, maybe you can take a leaf from us. Maybe you can look at what we've done and see how you can use what we are sharing here to help you in developing your own program. So coming back to the block of time on Friday afternoons, where we get to discuss our program, but at the same time, we sometimes, actually most of the times, we actually create this kind of recordings behind the scenes. But sometimes we discuss so much that we don't have time to do our recordings. That's when we decide, okay, we'll do our BTS or behind the scenes recording the following week. So this is really how we work. So we set up a block of time on Fridays. And once we discuss or once we create the videos, that's not the end of it. So what happens is, once we stop recording, once our online meeting has ended, what I will do is I will take my to-do list and look at it like, okay, what do I have to do? What did I promise to do? And I will try to use that while remaining Friday late evening time to work on the things I need to work on, because I know if I don't work on the things that we've spoken or discussed, I may have forgotten about it the following week. So I try to pack as much into my Friday evening after our calls, after our recordings, to really work on the stuff. So sometimes it could be something as simple as, okay, tweaking certain parts of the program, our landing page, for instance. And I love using this method of working because for the landing page, we've used a online software called Gamma, and that allows either me or Rowena to quickly log in to make the changes. So we don't need to wait like, oh, Rowena, I'm waiting for you and you're waiting for me. So both of us can actually do what we need to do. And then after we've done it, we just update each other. So I think that's a really efficient way of working, instead of just like, oh, I have to wait for her to finish her part while I can go in later to do my part. So I think using a lot of tools, being able to really quickly jump in and do the things that we do. And as we mentioned, we don't take this for granted either. We know that both of us as seasoned communicators, we can take an idea and write a whole paragraph about it. It's just stopping ourselves from writing too much, or, doing too much of communication on the page, or even, when we write messages to each other. So I think that's really the consistency, and having that consistency helps us as we really develop this program. So for anyone who's really thinking of this, I think, you really have to build consistency into collaboration.
Okay, can I say something? I was also thinking while you were talking about this that one of the things that I feel that we're so aligned on, and again, I don't take this for granted, and I'm very grateful for this, that we have a like-minded approach, is that again, because we come from similar backgrounds, and we've been doing this sort of work for a long time, both of us come to the understanding that this thing takes time and we've got to do the work. Meaning it's not a, set and forget kind of thing. Oh, the landing page is up and, people are just going to magically appear, or I'm just going to do one post and it's going to bring in all those deals. It's an understanding that marketing and promoting and communicating these messages that we want to get out there takes a bit of time. Now, the good thing, I guess, is that I feel I have a bit of a network, and I think you have a bit of a network. We're not like completely networkless.
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 Networkless, right?
So it's like, okay, so we can get our messages out there, and we do. As you pointed out, we do the recording. Once the recording is done on the Friday, you have the software called the script, and we both have access to it, and then the files are pulled out, and then we can upload it on our platforms, our social media, and we just go off and we get things done. Because you're taking the podcast angle, you're taking the audio files, I'm doing the video angle, I'm taking the video files. You've started creating shorts, we're putting shorts out. It's like, it's an understanding and an acceptance that there is a volume of work to do. Not to scare anyone, but I guess the reason why I'm saying this is because I have come across people who, they'll just make the one effort and then everything falls down because, they haven't got the deals, because the website is up, or they've done one post, and I think you just have to understand that you got to keep putting that message out there. And I think why people struggle with that is they're just not feeling comfortable. And you know what? I have spent such a long period of my life. I have been selling training programs in the past, and I have also been very vocal on LinkedIn, talking about a whole range of issues. But I haven't really been, for the longest time, in this position where I am actively promoting a product or a service. So that's unique because I don't really want to be in that situation. Well, I haven't really been in that situation where I'm so actively promoting something. Usually I'm just talking about things. So how I deal with that is to say, look, I will talk about the program from time to time. And I also really believe in what I'm doing. I really believe in the work that we're delivering here. And to me, it is a culmination of a lot of the work that I've been doing over the years. But right now, it's got a tangible aspect to it that I can point to it and I can feel it. Whereas in the past, there were many aspects that I couldn't really point to or kind of feel as tangible as it does, if that makes sense. And so just having this thing right now is so exciting for me, and it feels like I've come to this point. And so yes, I don't feel icky or anything about promoting it, but at the same time, I also pay attention to how I'm promoting it. So there may be times where I'm actively promoting the program, and there are times where I want to focus on the issues. So what are the issues around building visibility? Why are we struggling with, being seen, and using that also as a way of promoting, as opposed to just directly, expressly promoting the program each time. So I just want to throw that in
Yeah.
into the
But I
mix.
also wanted to add, since you're talking about that, I remember just a few days ago, you told me that you changed up your LinkedIn banner, right? Your LinkedIn header, the
Yeah,
header
yeah,
image. And I took a look at it and said, hey, I could change mine too. So I went to your page, I right clicked, saved the image,
saved it.
and popped it into my LinkedIn header
Yes,
because I felt that even though you told me that, that is a very personal thing, right? I mean, something that you wanted to do on your own LinkedIn. And I thought to myself, since we are promoting the program together, consistency should also be part of the branding and marketing. So I thought that's a great idea because that LinkedIn banner header was was something that I felt gave our program this visibility in a way, because it's just that picture of that woman, but it had a very nice tagline. So I put it up, and I thought that that was something that we could both do it quickly because we know the
I'm so
tools, we
glad.
know how to
Yes,
work
yes,
around things like that.
yeah. So some of the thinking around that is, I've had a lot of experience on LinkedIn for many years, and one of the things that I always tell clients and friends is that think of your LinkedIn banner as a sort of personal billboard. And I always use it. It's not just a decorative thing to, like, put some sort of image. Most people put images up there, stuff like that. I just think, it's a really powerful tool to kind of get your message out there because it's visual and it's right at the top of your profile. So it's very, very visible. And if you treat it as a personal billboard, you can communicate any message. So right now, because I've got a program, it just makes sense to put it up there. But when I'm not delivering a program, I still use it to communicate messages that I want to get across, not really necessarily related to a service or anything like that. And but at the same time, see, this is where I notified you, hey, look, this is what I'm doing. But I also feel like LinkedIn and your profile is so deeply personal. So I was not about to say, hey, Krista, I think you should do it. It was like, this is what I'm doing. So I was like, when I said that to you and you went, yeah, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm like, okay, well, I didn't want to tell you that you should because, this is such a deeply personal thing. There are areas where we decide we come together, like our landing page, like, the imagery that we want to create, the visuals that we want to, the choice of colors and stuff like that. But then certain things, I'll leave you to do it your way, and you will leave me to do it my way. So it's knowing, boundaries, I guess, and also being respectful and sharing information. And that's one of the things I also wanted to share here is that a lot of what we're doing, it has been, for me, it feels effortless and it feels so easy and it feels like we're so aligned, so in sync. But I do not take this for granted at all. Because I have been in situations where collaborations not necessarily easy. There's a lot of second guessing, or, well, what does the other person think? What would they like to do? Because the conversations may not flow as easily. You know what I mean? And so I want to talk about that because it's part of the visibility journey, is building those core skills to be able to communicate openly with other people. I mean, for me, open communication is super important. As I've grown older, I realized that it has become even more important to me. I rather have everything out on the table, even the difficult conversations, because then I know where I stand. And then I know how you really feel about something. I don't want to have to second guess. And I also don't want you to like be upset and behind, saying things or whatever behind my back. And I am like clueless. I rather you just tell me. But I also understand not everybody's like that. And so I really enjoyed and appreciated how easy this process has been for us. But I also know it's not necessarily the case for everyone. And so for others, if you're lucky to get into that situation, great. But if you're not that lucky, or you're having these little stoppages or
Hiccups.
hiccups, yeah, then it's about thinking, well, how do I want to work? How do I want how comfortable I am with how that other person is working? How can I open up a conversation? How can I speak freely? How can I speak my mind? Because I think that's really important. And that's important also when you're building visibility, or delivering something, even when it's part of a team project, right? So
Yeah.
worth looking at.
Yeah. So for me, like you, I believe that my LinkedIn banner is my personal billboard. So before I popped in Rowena's very cute banner. So if you're thinking about this and you're wondering what banner are they talking about, go and check it out. Hopefully we haven't removed it when this video goes out. But before that, I had the banner that promoted my podcast. So I just put it out there and said, I have a podcast and this is what I do, and go and check out the podcast. So, I mean, we can change up our LinkedIn banners. I think that's the fun part about LinkedIn,
Exactly.
is that you have a
Yes.
visual billboard.
Yes. I, I, I,
Yeah.
I tell everyone always it's a living document. So don't feel like you're stuck with whatever you've put up there for, forever. Right now we're promoting the program. We put the banners up there. Once the program is done, we're moving on to other things. You might put other stuff up there, and that's perfectly okay. That's exciting.
Yeah.
It's fun. You
Yeah.
get to,
Yeah.
flex your creative muscles and all of that.
Yeah. So I wanted to talk about the part you're talking about, difficult conversations. And I think difficult conversations are difficult because we have not set our expectations out there with each other. And like you, I work with so many other people in the past. And we have these assumptions, right? I assume you'll be doing this. I assume you'll be taking over this part of the project. Or I assume you'll be calling me and telling me that, hey, we're stuck in this part, we can't move. But the assumptions are what kills us most of the time. And because people don't want to take the lead, and I think this is what kills me most of the time, is that people just don't want to take the lead. I don't know why. If somebody can give me an answer to that, I'll be very happy to know. Why is it that it's so difficult when there are 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 people working a project and something doesn't go right? Someone doesn't take the lead to say, hey, I think this is not right. Shall we talk about it? Shall we get into a call? Shall we have a group call? I think people just don't want to talk about it. So I think if you want to work well with other people, I think the first thing you have to do is don't assume that that person is doing, unless you already outline. And for us, I think we referenced this in the early BTS videos, is that we even have a document where we had to get clear in our minds what we were trying to do before we even did it. And if we don't get clear on things like that, we assume, right? I assume Rowena wanted a program like this, or I assume I wanted a program like that. Why doesn't she want a program like this? And who are we talking to? So if we don't get those essentials or the fundamentals really ironed out and sorted out, we can't get to a place where we're all working well with each other, because we don't have those we still have those assumptions. We don't have a very clear idea of why we are doing this. And I think that comes back to our initial document, why we're doing this. Why do we feel so strongly about this? And because we sold ourselves on the idea in the first few weeks of talking about it, we are excited about promoting it. And I think this is the part where a lot of people get stuck, is that why some people don't want to promote a program or a product that they have worked very hard on is because they themselves did not believe in it. If I believe in it, I would do my best to promote it. And so I think this is the part where, if you're talking about visibility as well, if I believe in the work that I do and you believe in the work that you do, we should be happy promoting it. And we're not even talking about promoting as in, hey, come and buy our stuff, come and buy our program. We're just saying, this is what we are doing and we are working on this. And maybe in our upcoming BTS videos, we'll talk about how we are marketing and promoting the program in the way that we want to promote it, not the way that, hey, come and buy our stuff. We don't do stuff like that. As Rowena says, it's not about a hard sell. It's really about giving people the opportunity to buy it when they are ready. And the readiness level is very important for the both of us. Yeah, so I just wanted to add that in because
Yeah.
that's how we work.
Yeah, and to continue on a little bit about the difficult conversations also is the idea that, like you said, some people don't want to have these conversations because, for whatever reason, we're just not clear. I think for me, what I sense sometimes is people aren't fully committed. So they're kind of unsure about what they're doing. They haven't wrapped those ideas around in their mind, and they are really sort of maybe sitting on the fence as to those things. And because they haven't figured out what they want to do, they're just not there. But if we take this example, the program that we're doing, we have wrapped our minds around this. And the approach that we took is, when we were at the early stages of developing the program, I suggested to you, you go off and you put down what you think should be in the program, and I'm going to do the same, so that we don't have a situation where I'm seeing your ideas first, and that can kind of, it can block your ideas, or it can influence your ideas. I just want to,
Yeah.
I just want to be have a free reign. I don't want to know your ideas first, and I just dump everything down, and then you dump everything down, and then we do that kind of comparison, and we kind of put it together. And that's the approach we took. And I think that helps me to clarify what I'm doing. Right? When you work on a program like this, you have an idea what it is you're doing and who it is you're supporting, and what you expect and hope that people will get when they come out of this. And because those things are so clear to me and to you, it just drives everything. So I think when you are developing a product or a service and you're still at that phase where you're not really sure of the target audience and you're not really sure exactly how the program is, then of course you don't want to necessarily rush out there and kind of promote it, because that will be influenced by the fact that you don't have that clarity. So much clarity we have about what we're doing, and that drives everything we do, and it just creates a very consistent picture of a lot of things for us. And even when we then consider new things that may pop up, that clarity about what we're doing, who we're supporting, what outcomes we want, that kind of influences how we look at a new thing that pops up. Whether we will do it, whether we'll incorporate it, whether this is parked for 6 months down the line, whether that is a completely new product, that all becomes clear because the original idea is also clear.
Yeah. And when you're talking about that, I just think that part of why people are sitting on the fence is because they can't decide. They can't decide if they want to do this or not. They can't decide if they want to move ahead. And they're like, oh, maybe it's risky. Maybe I don't know what's the outcome. Can I do this? Or, would I be able to market it? So I think a lot of times when you can't make a decision, a lot of things are like in a limbo. Because you can't move forward if you can't make a decision, right? So for both of us, I think the key thing is both of us are very fast decision makers. I would just like to make a decision and move ahead with it and move on with it, rather than sit on it and think about it for the next 5 days, because that takes up a lot of brain space in my brain. So for me, I rather, if it's a decision that I can make in 5 minutes, I would make it. I would decide on it in 5 minutes and we move with it. And then, of course, if you're watching this and thinking, yeah, but what if it's a wrong decision? What if we made a decision and it doesn't work out? And my take to it, my idea about that is that if it doesn't work out, well, you learned that it didn't work out. That idea or that decision you made wasn't that good for the program or whatever that you're doing. But if you are able to make small little, well, I guess small little progress towards something that you want to do, and these ideas or these decisions that you have to make are important enough, you have to make those decisions so you can move the project forward. Otherwise, it just gets stuck there. Which is why I told Rowena, yeah, if we're having two different packages, workshops plus coaching, let's try it out. I mean, we never know until we put it out there and what the participants will tell us whether they like it or not.
And um,
You're going to add something to that,
okay.
right?
I did a talk once, and I talked about dreaming unfettered. So when I talk about this, what I'm trying to say is you have a dream of what it is that you're building or developing or wanting. And when you dream, you have to dream unfettered, which means you don't think about all the ways in which things can go wrong. You don't think about all the problems and challenges you're going to face. Because once you start doing that, it starts cutting into the dream. And then you start modifying your dream, right? So you have this idea that, you're going to build this, let's just say this program, right? And if I did what some people might do, it's like, oh, but no one's going to come. Oh, but we can't make it like, this price point. We've got to make it free or cheap. Oh, but will people even come for 4 weeks? Maybe we should do, 2 days.
2 days.
Yeah. So then I have this dream that we're doing 4 weeks, and then next thing you know, it's like cut down to 2 days. And instead of the price point we have crafted based on all of those factors, we now made it like this ridiculous price point, and that doesn't relate to all the time and effort that we put in, because we have this in our mind that, oh, people won't buy, or people will only have this amount of time. So this is what I mean. It's just cutting into the dream. No. So when you have this dream, you dream big. So it's like, we're doing this for 4 weeks. It's going to be Mondays we're doing this, and Wednesdays we're doing this, and this is what's going to happen, and we want this number of people, and this is how we're going to run it. We're going to use a deck, and we're going to use this and this. And you just have this like best case scenario, really, right? The original dream. And then you articulate that dream. So I articulate it to you, you articulate your version to me, and we come up with a thing that we're both happy with. That is what you start with. Don't do all that other stuff first. Do this. And then once you have the dream, then you can start talking about, but this might happen, and this might happen, and that will, that is a possibility. We need to look out for this. Okay, but because we already have the dream, and then we put these guardrails, these like fences around it, and then whatever else comes, it's got a bit of protection. Because the thing we have to understand about a dream like that is that it is so tiny. It's like this little baby. It's got legs, but it can't walk. And you need to hold its hand, and you need to feed it. And your dream is just like a little baby. You've got to protect it. You've got to feed it. You've got to water it. And then the dream starts to grow and starts to get stronger. And then eventually it gets to a point where it can stand on its own. And if you don't do that, if you don't protect your dream just gets shattered. And I think this is where a lot of people struggle, is that because they don't have that confidence, or they just focus so much on all the things that can go wrong, they dream dreams that they then cut into. And then what they have is this thing. It's like, well, of course I'm not excited about producing this or putting this out there, because look at it. It's nothing like what I originally thought, because I've allowed everything to cut into it, right? So that is my main message for today. You got to dream unfettered, and then protect that dream. Don't let all the naysayers and the people around, be careful about, feedback you're getting, and, you go and share this dream with other people, and they go, nah, yeah, someone else has already done it, or nah, you can't possibly do that. Like, that's too big. Maybe you should just temper it, maybe don't go for a month. Maybe you should do 2 weeks. No, you start listening to all these people, and you start cutting into your dream. No cutting into the dream. Dream big or go home, right?
But I really do resonate with that. I think sometimes people don't give themselves the permission to do some big thing, and we're so we're so accustomed to doing the small doable things in our lives that sometimes that's why they get tired, right? They get tired because it's the same thing they're doing, the same small, strange, routine, mundane thing that they're doing in their lives. But what if you could do something far more interesting, far more exciting? But first, you have to sell yourself on the idea too. You have to get excited about your own idea. If you're not excited, no point making anything. Program, product. So
Exactly.
here's a little hint, right? So the program is just not a program. For Rowena and me, there are much bigger plans for the program. There's so many things on the back end of this program that it's just like Charlie in the Chocolate Factory kind of thing, right? It's
Oh,
like there's
yeah.
so much happening.
Yes, so much
There's so much
happening.
happening at the back. There's so many exciting things happening. So we'll keep you, we'll keep you informed as we develop these other things. But first we got to get this program running and done first. So we have so many things parked in we even have a place, right, to park all the ideas
Yes, we
that
do.
we are thinking of even as we are developing this program.
Correct.
So sometimes a brilliant idea comes up, but we are disciplined. We say we're doing one thing at a time. We're finishing this before we're moving on to project 2, project 3, and so on. So I think my message for us today is, for anyone who's watching or even anyone who's listening, is that the key to any good collaboration is a consistency of work, and also a very open and honest conversation with your project collaborator, as well as not being tied down by all your assumptions about certain things, or even like Rowena says, don't cut into your dream before it's even formed, because it's gonna be so depressing. So yeah, so I think that is our message for today. We probably have covered so much more that we wanted to do, but
Yes, we
yeah,
did.
I
I'm
think
sorry, Krista. We just like go off on these little mini tangents.
yeah, for those who are watching our BTS, they must be thinking, these two women, they can just go on and on and on, which we can actually go on and on and on. Even our discussions can go on and on and on, but we don't want to go on too long, so we'll keep more for our upcoming BTS. So if you're watching this, listening to this, go and check out our program and check it out. And if you know someone who really needs the program, please send them to our landing page. Links below if you're watching this as a video. Otherwise, it's tinyurl.com/from vision to voice. Rowena, anything else you want to add on?
Unfetter the dream. That's it.
Okay.
Yes.
Unfettered the dream. Unfetter the dream. Okay, that's a good one. So see you, everyone. We'll see you again in the upcoming episode of BTS.